Start. Um, Hi everyone, welcome. I'm Vidit Paliwal, CEO at BigStep Technologies. We're a technology services company, and we spend most of our time helping startups and enterprises build AI native products, build agents, and build agentic workflows.
And I am Dorota Pindel. I am WeSolve AI and Innovation Director at WebTalk Agency here in Poland. And we help brands and enterprises across Europe reimagine customer journeys, marketing, and customer experience with AI. And we are also a part of WonderLab Group as BigStep Technologies.
Great. Dorota, I'm very happy that we're doing this today. And this is one of many more webinars and masterclasses to come.
Yes, I am
So,
excited too.
yes. So today's format is more like a fireside chat with real world talk on how enterprises are actually building systems of agents that think and act. All right. So before we start this session, I want to ask everyone who's watching this a quick question. Um, do you currently use any form of automation in your work or in your business? If you are, please answer with yes or no in the chat. We'll see. We'll see everyone's responses. Great. I think we'll collate everyone's responses later. So um, so 2 months ago, we did a session on how leaders are building AI agents that deliver real impact, and that session was about what AI agents are and how to get started with agentic AI. And we've seen a big shift in the last 6 to 12 months. In the last 6 to 12 months, we've seen the conversations with our clients shift from one where they ask us that can we try an agent to one where they're now asking us how do we run dozens of agents across our businesses.
Yeah, and from the European and Polish market side, we're seeing the same shift. Marketing and customer experience leader don't want just another AI pilot. They want systems that can own parts of the journey, like acquisition, onboarding, service, but still being safe and compliant, and of course on
Mhm.
brand.
Exactly. Yeah, so this masterclass is all about that next level. Enterprises that think and act, um, and with their agents that collaborate with your teams, and not just a single chatbot that is available for your customers at one touch point. So, a quick refresher from the last session that we did, because I'm assuming many of you who are watching this today were with us last time as well. Now, we gave a quick difference between chatbots and agentic systems. So a rule based chatbot is essentially a scripted FAQ. Uh, on the other hand, an LLM chat experience lets you, the user, converse more naturally. However, that LLM chat lives in isolation. And contrary to both of these, an agent is very different. An agent observes context. That context could be events, that context could be uh, your data. So it observes context, it reasons using an LLM, and then it does certain action. It acts across your tools. These tools could be CRMs, ERPs, your ticketing systems. It could even be your email, your WhatsApp group, your forms, APIs, any of these.
And of course, when you connect many of these agents into shared journeys, then that's when you start to see an agentic enterprise. That's really what we're going to unpack today.
Absolutely. And we covered this diagram the last time as well. This is a very simple diagram of an AI agent. And this shows how an AI agent observes using the events that it is handling, or the database that it's observing. So it observes, it then decides using the LLM brain, and then it acts using all the tools that it has available. So this is a very simple diagram of an AI agent. Great. Now when we build for enterprises, we we don't start by saying that let's pick this model, right? Because an agentic system is a lot more than just a model. So we start with systems. Typically, an agentic system has four layers that you're seeing here. The first is the interaction layer. This is the layer which can have things like uh, a voice interface, chat, apps, portals. So this is the layer that your users interact with the using which your users interact with the agentic system. Then there's the second layer, which is the agents or the orchestration layer. Then there's the third layer, which has all the tools. It is the tools and the data layer, which has your CRMs, your LIMS or LIMS, your ERPs, your SaaS tools, etc. Right, and the fourth layer is your governance and observability layer. Right, it'll basically help you govern your agentic system, observe what your agents are doing, see the performance of your agents, and so on. I'll give you an example of this agentic enterprise architecture using one of the projects. So, in one of the insurance projects that we'll talk about today in more detail in the next few slides, in that agentic process for an insurance client, voice and chat were sitting on the top layer. But and then we had agents which were calling CRMs, policy engines, uh, claim processing systems, all of those behind the scenes, and all that interaction of agents with the of channels with the agents with the tools, all those interactions were being monitored and governed.
And from the business side, this view helps a lot. It stops leaders from thinking we need a chatbot on our website, and instead start thinking we need a system that can handle a full insurance journey or a full tenant journey across channels and departments, of course.
Exactly. So while most people think that an agentic system uh, involves just agents, but an agentic system involves all these four important points, all these four important layers in the architecture. Now I'll go a bit more detail to explain that the previous slide better. I'll go more into detail with this insurance agent system that we created. So so one of the systems that we built for our customer is a multi-channel conversational agent for insurance brokers. This system speaks with customers over voice. It understands the intent of those customers in real time, and then this agentic system can actually do things like fetching policies, starting claims, recommending insurance plans, and so on.
Yeah, and I think that it's important that it's not one page FAQ bot. It's embedded into the broker workflow, understands multiple product lines like health, life, or motor or travel, and can complete end-to-end tasks.
Exactly. So this agentic system has been seamlessly integrated with the existing systems of this insurance customer, and technically, technically, this entire agentic system is powered by a large language model uh, with tool calling across CRMs, policy systems. However, the impact of all of this, the real story, is the impact that this agentic system has had on the business. So, because of this agentic system, our customer is able to deliver consistent 24/7 service, 24 by 7 service. They've seen uh, considerable reduction in wait times for customers, for their end customers, and they've seen a much more scalable broker experience in their ecosystem.
Yeah, and the biggest mistake we see is starting with a random use case just because it's cool. The better approach is to look at volumes, frictions, and business ownership. Where are customers or internal teams stacked today, or onboarding claims, services requests, or diagnostics approvals? Those are great and actually the greatest candidates.
Yeah. So identifying the problems that your agentic systems should solve for you is, in fact, the first thing every business should do. So we usually work with leaders to map their use cases where AI agents can make an impact into a simple 2 by 2 matrix like the one you're seeing here. So here, this 2 by 2 matrix shows business impact versus implementation complexity. So you can map your various use cases on this 2 by 2 matrix, and you should start with implementing or building agentic AI capabilities into those use cases that are high impact with medium complexity. And for these use cases, from day one, you should define success metrics like the customer satisfaction, the impact that these agents are having on your customer satisfaction scores, the impact these agents are having on turnaround times, the cost that it is taking for you to use these agents in your processes, right? The impact you're seeing in your revenues because of using these agentic systems, as well as the overall reduction in error to customer responses that you're seeing. And all this impact of agentic systems get captured in the observability layer that we'll talk about in more details in the next slide. Great. When a lot of, and so this is a question that we receive a lot of times. So when people ask us that which model should we use for our use case, our honest answer to them is that that should not be the first question. The first question that you should have, or rather the first thing that you should think about, is where is your data residing? What data can legally leave your systems, leave your geography, and who actually owns the risk because of that data leaving, right? So that should be the first thing you should think about, the data and jurisdiction, right? And it is after that that we talk about the model strategy. Now, within the model strategy also, the kind of things that we should think of is, should you use a model from a single vendor, or a single model, or should you think of a multi-model strategy, right? A lot of times we talk about a multi-agentic workflow, right? So similarly, the second thing thing that you should think of is the single vendor versus multi-model strategy. Now, within model strategy, you should also think of whether you should use a closed model or an open model, right? Open models are the ones that are provided by Anthropic, Gemini, Google Gemini, etc. So should you use an open model versus a closed model, and should you use an on-premise model? And then so this model strategy is especially important if you have a use case that is for the BFSI or healthcare industry, or if you're from a geography which has strict privacy regulations like the European Union.
Yeah, on the European side, especially in Poland and EU markets, front and center are questions about data residency, GDPR, and vendor lock-in. So we frame it as what will keep your compliance officer and your CMO both comfortable.
Exactly. And only after that do we discuss the stack, right? So after these three fundamentals have been taken care of, do we then discuss the stack? Rather, after the two fundamentals of data and jurisdiction strategy and the model strategy have been taken care of, then we come to the stack, which includes your LLMs combined with RAG, your workflow engines, and your existing cloud, right? So the stack actually comes later in the decision building process for your platform and LLM strategy. And the good thing is that you don't need a perfect platform strategy from day one, right? This is something that can be revisited later on as well. Great. Now, in almost every project of agentic AI that we worked upon, agents are actually wrapping existing systems, and they're not replacing uh, your existing systems. So um, typically, we've seen agents sit above your existing stack, which could comprise of about 5, 10, 15 siloed tools. Um, uh, these agents would unify your data and they would orchestrate workflows uh, within your existing systems instead of forcing you to rewrite everything in your existing stack.
It's one of my favorite examples is a real estate workflow automation platform. It brings PDFs, emails, underwriting data, leasing tools into a single layer, and then agent sits on top of that to prepare summaries, answer questions, and move work forward. Right?
Yeah, that is a use case we're very proud of, Dorota. And I remember the kind of excitement we had when we spoke about that for the first time. Yeah. So if you're a CIO or a CDO, um, uh, agentic AI implementation should actually feel more like building a new integration layer on top of your existing systems. So, a new integration layer with intelligence rather than starting another multi year system migration. Right. So, that is the kind of mindset we should go into whenever we are thinking of starting the agentic AI journey. Great. Now, some problems are too complex for a single agent, and that is when we talk about multi-agent workflows. So, for example, in financial or real estate underwriting, you might have one agent that is cleaning data, then another agent that is generating summaries, a third agent which could be producing financial proformas, a fourth agent handling Q&A.
Yeah, and from the leader's perspective, this is like building a cross-functional team, but in a software. You don't want one super agent doing everything poorly. You want just specialized agents that collaborate.
Exactly. Yeah. So multi-agent. Yeah. So the best you spoke that about that really well, Dorota. So a multi-agent scenario should be thought of as having a, a cross-functional team where every team member is doing their own task, but then collaboratively they're helping you achieve your end goal. So we also use multi-agent patterns in I'll talk about one use case of a multi-agent pattern being used in an investment analysis, right? Where there could be one agent that prepares data from multiple PDF and CSV files, another agent that builds a dashboard, a third agent that lets your that lets investment analysts query the data in a natural language manner. And because of this multi agent collaboration, the enterprise will see outcomes that are fast as well as reliable. Um, we now have we'll quickly go through about two or three use cases of multi-agent. We want to emphasize on multi-agent because a multi-agent workflow is one that helps you extract a lot of value out of your agentic AI journey. So here you're seeing a multi-agent sales workflow. This is a workflow we'd shown and spoken about in our last webinar as well. Here you're seeing one agent that does lead qualification and lead screening. Then there's a second agent which does sales enablement. Um, Using company insights, by extracting company insights, right? Then there could be a third agent that does lead nurturing and engaging of your existing leads, and a fourth agent that does that monitors the health of the deal pipeline, right? So four agents working together for a sales workflow. The second use case that we're seeing here, and again, this one was also shown in our last webinar, is of a multi-agent setup that handles proactive maintenance for a manufacturing setup. And this is, in fact, both of these, the sales workflow as well as the proactive maintenance workflow, has been implemented by us already for our clients. Now, in this proactive maintenance workflow, you're seeing three agents. There is one that is a health monitoring agent that uses sensor data to monitor health of machines. Then there is a forecasting agent that predicts failures before they actually occur using the health data from the first agent. And then there is a maintenance coordinator agent that creates work orders for the maintenance team to actually maintain the machines before a downtime occurs, right? And the effect of all of these three agents collaborating is optimized uptime and efficient maintenance of machines. Great. Now, the third multi-agent workflow is that of an insurance industry. Again, this is also one that we've implemented for one of our clients, and I'll go more in depth with this one. So, this workflow that you're seeing is of an agentic workflow, which was where there were multi-channel agents. When I say multi-channel, these were agents that were accessible by end users across telephony, WhatsApp, etc. And we implemented this for an insurance client. Now, this client faced a problem where their human agents that were interfacing with customers were overloaded, which caused customers to have long wait times, and the policy information of all these customers was scattered across multiple systems. So we designed a voice first audio to audio agent that understands insurance specific queries. It is able to do policy lookups. um, it is able to initiate claims, and this agent supports multiple product lines as well across policy types.
Yeah, if I may, I'm not sure if it's clear for everyone, but from the experience side, this changes the journey because customers can speak naturally, get answers and actions in one flow, and don't feel like they are talking to a robot. For brokers, it means that they can focus on complex cases instead of repeating routine information all day. So it's very useful.
Yeah, yeah, and we could see an impact of all of this on the actual numbers. So, um, we and our clients saw a large percentage of routine customer queries being resolved end to end by these AI agents, and the handling time of these queries was reduced drastically. There were more number of queries being answered, and most importantly, there was data being captured consistently in the CRMs. So while there were human agents that were making mistakes, not capturing data consistently, these AI agents were working consistently, right? And all of this is now happening with proper guardrails in place, proper monitoring, and if there are any escalations that arise because of this, these escalations are handled by humans, right? So we have human in the loop also built into this agentic workflow.
And
And
that's That's a very human questions behind all of this, right? What happens to our teams? The best implementations don't replace people; they change their role from doing everything to just reviewing, approving, and handling edge cases, right?
Yes, yes, yeah. Um, so exactly, right? Whether it is service agents, agents that are servicing customers, whether it is underwriters, whether it is lab technicians, analysts, whatever role you can think of, right? The pattern of agentic AI implementation is similar across all, where we have AI agents that do the drafting, do the initial job, and then there are humans who actually decide how the agent has performed, right? So we design clear workflows where humans can override or correct AI agents if required. And all such actions being taken by human agents actually becomes training data for future improvement of the agentic workflow.
And from a change management perspective, this is crucial. If teams feel that the system is their assistant, not their replacement, adoption is much smoother, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It is very important. Change management is very important for every company, right? And so having humans in the loop in your agentic workflows help with adoption, helps with change management. Great. So once you're live with your agentic workflow, right, that is when real work begins, because you need observability into how your agentic systems are performing. And you need observability not just at the server level, but also at the agent level, right? You need observability into things like what are the tasks that are failing, uh, what are the kind of customer queries or events that are being escalated to humans, right? uh, how is your agentic system costing you, right? Or where where are you seeing high latency and latency spiking?
And then feedback loops. In a diagnostic context, for instance, radiology teams review AI generated reports, correct them, and that feedback is fed back into prompts templates and sometimes even more fine tuning, right?
Right. So the importance of feedback loops with observability is high, right? And yeah, so um, observability built into your agentic systems helps your team to easily flag and fix cases that need fixing, right? We've actually seen mature teams that are overseeing AI agents run weekly agent review meetings. That is very important to see how your AI agents are performing and take corrective actions. Just like how there are weekly cadence, that just like how you might be having weekly cadences for, let's say, your product or your growth functions.
Yeah, and this slide from the EU and Polish side, this is the often first slide business leader want to see. Where is my data? Who can see what? Who do we meet? How do we meet GDPR or sector regulations? And of course, brand safety standards.
Yeah. So um, governance, security, compliance, these are very important for your agentic systems. So in BFSI and healthcare projects, we actually design guardrails like any serious system. So we build role-based accesses for agents so that your agents can only access data that they need to have access to. We build audit logs for every action that AI agents take. There is strict control on which tools agents can call, And if something looks off, right, there is a clear fallback on there's a clear fallback in place if something looks off.
Yeah, and I can hear that a lot, that it's helpful to treat agents like new team members. From a governance standpoint, you would never hire a human without contracts, controls, and accountability. And the same discipline must apply to agentic system. And I think that's this part. Let's talk more about a legal perspective, right? Um,
Yeah. So observability and governance, they actually go hand in hand.
exactly. Well, today, the key European regulation encourages every organization to perform its own classification and risk assessment based on risk appetite. The core questions you're probably asking yourselves are which legal aspects are worth addressing, what is a legal must have, and what is nice to have, and what features an AI project should include to comply with legal requirements.
Mm-hmm. Right. And yeah, all these questions actually guide our agentic system design process at BigStep as well. We take care of all of these because uh, there are and while there are many more questions, but then the idea is common. It's one.
Yes, yes, exactly. The idea is one. Safe AI is the kind that combines compliance first design with risk based governance. And what does it mean? It means that the AI system or AI agent you build will not create unnecessary risk if the following conditions are met. And we have two. First one, legal requirements are built into the product from the very beginning, not added at the end. And what does it involve? It means you account for GDPR by minimizing data processing. Your agents also comply with privacy rules, data encryption standards, and access control principles. And of course, this includes proper technical documentation describing how the system works. This significantly reduces the risk of violations. And the second one is it means that you adapt oversight and control processes to the level of risk of the specific AI use case. This begins with identifying risks like legal, operational, reputational, and ethical, of course, and you then classify the AI agent according to the AI Act framework. In short, it determines whether the system is high risk, limited risk, or minimal risk. And this also includes compliance testing and keeping a human in the loop, which we told about. In addition, you define incident response procedures like escalations flows, quick analysis, and of course, corrective actions.
Yeah. So all of these legal and ethical foundations for your agentic systems are put in place by having the same design practices around observability, governance in place that we spoke about earlier. Great. So now let's look at the legal environment for building AI agents because that is quite intensive and it is very foundational. Great. So this what you're seeing is the environment that we operate in when we're building AI agents, and I hope this does not overwhelm you because all of these aspects can be addressed very effectively. Dorota, can you walk us through this?
Sure, sure. There are many different regulations, but you'll find two key elements here. It's GDPR and the AI Act. The second one impose concrete obligations on creators. There are also other frameworks that guide or enforce certain practices, such as DSA or DMA. And let's not forget that beyond general legislation, your own ecosystem includes your internal contracts with employees, freelancers, clients, and partners. Pay special attention to this because, in my experience, many implementations fail not because of national or EU law, but because of restrictive, incomplete, or outdated internal agreements. So I strongly recommend reviewing your contracts to check whether they are allow the use of the AI in the delivery of services to your clients. Believe me, most of them do not. And with every client, you often need to an amendment or a new agreement, actually.
Yeah, yeah. So our masterclass today is all about how enterprises can build agentic systems that can think and act, right? So for enterprises, having strong legal and ethical foundations are very important, right? And for for enterprises that are operating globally, this becomes even more complex. um, but let's talk about the AI Act, because this is in fact the newest piece of European legislation, and this is the one that directly regulates how we work with AI.
Yeah, AI Act is a very extensive document, over 400 pages, that defines how AI systems should be designed, launched, implemented, and used. And it is a regulation, and part of it have already been phased in over the past year. This year, it introduces basic obligations for AI models, and starting next August, it fully requires creators of AI systems to comply with a defined set of rules. Looking at the content of the AI Act, the regulation introduces levels of risk for AI systems. High risk systems include AI used independently as a product or a safety component of the product imported in the EU, such as vehicles or toys or so on. So the Act also defines prohibited systems, depending on the role of the company in the life cycle. Each party has different obligations. Providers have to has the broadest range of duties, including designing and building the system in line with the AI Act, performing risk assessment and system classification, ensuring data quality, and so on.
Mhm. That was very extensive. So, if we summarize AI Act, basically what the law expects from us as creators of AI systems, it comes down to three core points. First is transparency. Um, Second is that we should have sufficient things in place to allow systems to be audited, and the behavior of the system to be explained, right? Second, minimization of data use and inclusion of confidentiality and, more broadly, privacy protection features. And third is clear human responsibility and oversight over how the agent operates, right? So these are three important things that the AI Act comes down to.
Yeah, and it's also important to know that AI Act does not address a copyright, even though in the context of generative AI, this is the most actively discussed legal issues in Europe. In short, copyright applies only to humans. Only human created work qualify as an original work. AI has no such rights, so everything it produces is not a work but an output. And if unmodified by human, defaults into the public domain. This means that if your agent generates text or images within your process, your company may use them, but it cannot claim exclusive rights. But I guess that this topic deserves a separate webinar. Maybe let us in comments if you're interested in that, because it's a very extensive topic.
Exactly. Yeah. If anyone would like to go more in depth with these regulations, please drop a comment or feel free to reach out to us later. We could connect one on one, or if we get a lot of requests, we can even do a separate webinar on this.
So to make our and your daily work easier, we've added checklists of questions worth asking when designing an AI agent. Among them, you will find, for example, is the data processing GDPR compliant? Do we have a lawful basis for every data flow? Does the agent require an AI Act risk classification? Usually, yes. Is human oversight built in, or are copyrights or licensed for training data cleared? You won't always know the answers to these questions at the start, but they are part of the initial discovery work, and it's very important.
Mhm. Yes, yes. I hope if those who are attending the webinar, feel free to take a screenshot of this checklist, because this checklist is very important, right? And this is exactly where both WebTalk and BigStep support our clients when designing AI agents. So I also want to emphasize that if a vendor is building an agentic system for you, you have every right to ask these questions, and your vendor, your partner, is obliged to answer them.
Exactly.
Great. We're now nearing the end of our webinar, and we thought we should do some deep dives into case studies, into two case studies in particular. And the goal of this deep dive is basically to trigger some thoughts on what you can also do for agentic workflow implementation in your business processes. So let's go inside this one system. This is our multi-channel AI agentic multi-channel agentic AI system that we built for an insurance client. Now, as I mentioned this in one of the earlier slides as well, so the main problem for this customer was that their human agents were overloaded. Customers had long wait times. The policy information was scattered across systems, and so we build this voice first, audio to audio agent that understands insurance specific queries. It performs policy lookups, it initiates claims, and supports multiple product lines. And so here you can see how before we solve the problem with agentic AI, there were these problems, and then we built this agent that helped with all of these, interacted with customers via WhatsApp and call, and then the key impact metrics were reduced wait time. Large number of tasks were automated, about 60%, and all of this led to about 25% increase in the customer satisfaction score. A deep dive into another case study. So this second example is from a healthcare diagnostics client. So this client actually runs a large network of labs and uh, walk-in diagnostic centers. So they have a complex LIMS. LIMS is a laboratory information management system, and they had radiology reports that were typed manually by their doctors. They had paper-based invoice checks in all their centers, and additionally, in all of their centers, they had mountain of walk-in resumes that they were getting from candidates, right? So uh, when we worked on building agentic systems for them, we did not replace the limbs. Rather, we added modules on top of their limbs. So we added a module. It was an agentic module that handles report drafting and makes life easier for the doctors. Then we built one module that worked on resume parsing and helping our customer identify which candidates out of those who are walking in are a good fit. And we also built an invoice digitization module for their finance team that extracted data out of the large number of invoices that their finance team was receiving, right? Now, all of these three agentic systems that we built for them, we built clear logs, so everything was getting logged, and there were human approvals in place.
Yeah, and this is the greatest example of agentic AI in the back office, because patients don't see it directly, but they feel it, right? Faster reports or fewer errors or more responsive operations, it's all for them. So that this it's a very really nice example.
Yeah, and the wins that we got, or the end results that we got, they were significant, with a large number of hours being saved across the radiology and finance teams. there were fewer manual errors, and in fact, we created agents that could be replicated across other operational workflows of the customer as well. So um, this project for our client has been kind of a quiet transformation, and uh, these processes are ones that AI agents are really good at. Great. Uh, we now we're now at the end of our webinar. So I think to wrap this up, there are three big messages. First, think of the entire systems that will need to be built for your agentic AI workflows. Don't just think of the LLMs, right? Start with real journeys, real processes where you can see good impact. So we saw that 2 by 2 matrix between impact and complexity. Don't just go for hype, right? And design governance in your agentic systems as seriously as you would design the experience for your end customers.
Yeah, thank you very much. We'd love to hear your questions now. I know that many of you are from different parts of the world, so we would like to know what kind of challenges you face, whether it's about BFSI, maybe you want to know something more about our case studies, diagnostics, maybe real estate, or how to get alignment inside your organization. So let's open it up.
Yep. Please send to us your questions via email, via DM on LinkedIn. Your questions will also give us ideas related to the topic for our next webinar. And uh, if anyone needs a copy of our deck, we would be happy to share this deck also with you. If you could DM us, reach out to us, email us, we'll be happy to share this deck with you as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye.